Hello guys and gals, it's me William Clark here at William Clark's Pokemon Journey. I'm going to talk to you about the Pokemon video games and how confusing the timeline is. Without wasting any more time, let's get this show on the road. Now, for now, I'm going to forget about the first two generations because the timeline doesn't start getting confusing until the third generation. So let's go. You're all familiar with Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow, right? The original Pokemon games. And Gold, Silver, and Crystal on the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Well, let's go to the third generation on the Game Boy Advance, where it's Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And let's go at the first remakes known to the Pokemon series, which is Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now wait a minute, there's no blue version or yellow version. The green version was released only in Japan, where Leaf Green was universal. Okay, what the hell just happened? But that's just the start of the confusion here, my folks. They totally skipped the second generation of Pokemon on the Game Boy Advance. Just what? How? What? What? Why? Why would you skip the second generation? You made the first generation and you made your own third generation. Why not the second one? But that is only the starting point of the confusion. Now let's go to the DS. Oh boy, let's go to the DS. They completely skipped over the first generation. They made the second generation into their own games. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but there's no Crystal version. And they totally skipped over the third generation and made the fourth generation. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Now, you skipped the first generation, which you made for the Game Boy Advance, and you made the second generation onto the DS, which was not present in the Game Boy Advance era. And then you skipped the third generation, which in itself was for Game Boy Advance. And then you made your own generation, Generation 4, its own thing. What? But that's again only going to get more confusing. Oh boy. Oh boy, is this going to get confusing. Okay. Now we go to Black and White and Black 2, White 2. Further cementing the fact that we would never get a first generation remake on the DS, nor a third generation remake on the DS. But the second generation remake was on the DS. And let's get to the 3DS. They skipped over the first two generations and made way for X and Y, and rumored to have a Sun and Moon version. Well, oh boy. They made the third generation into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but there is no Emerald version. And Mega Groudon, Mega Kyogre, Mega Rayquaza. There's three. You see the issue here? In case you don't, I'm going to tell you right now. Ruby would be Groudon, Sapphire would be Kyogre, and Emerald would be Rayquaza. I don't think you can have all three, unless you trade with someone across the world. Oh boy. But, yeah, let's make it more confusing. There's gonna be Sun and Moon coming out eventually, or well, I don't know if it's gonna be an actual game or if it's hoax, just a rumor or not. But you know, what's the next thing gonna be? What is the next thing gonna be? The next console or handheld that will have its own line of Pokemon games? Will they keep the format going and not make any more reboots of Red, Blue, Green, or Yellow? Or, I mean, 'cause so far we did the second generation in the DS era and the third generation in the 3DS era and the first generation in the Game Boy Advance era. So to me, that's a really confusing thing. A really confusing timeline. Now, did I lose anybody here? Maybe. But what is the next generation of game systems going to be like? Will they redo the fourth generation games? Would there be another Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum game series? Would there be finally a remake of Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow? Or would there be its own series of games, not anywhere close to a reboot, nor even considering a reboot? How about Pokemon Generations into a video game? You could do Kanto and Hoenn, I think, is the first two generations of towns. You could do those and make them into multiple cartridges. Then the next one can have one or two other towns, and they can get their Pokemon, well, world, regions, whatever. And then the next one can have the rest and whatever. 4 or 5 cartridges. Just say for the first one, Pokemon Generations cartridge 1 or something like that, and then cartridge 2, 3, 4, so on until you get all the generations, so that you're not skipping any generations unless you want to skip the generations, and you don't have to play the story in order, but it's always there if you want. I mean, that's something that Nintendo should consider doing. Let's stop the confusion here. Just stop the confusion. My brain is about ready to blow up into 5 billion particles at the speed of sound. Oh God. Ah, weird. So anyways, guys and gals, that was it. That was my Pokemon timeline thingamahooey, where I talk about the confusing aspects of the Pokemon video games and how they're confusing and why. Yeah, it was in for a doozy. So, yeah, yeah. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. If there's going to be a next generation of Pokemon games and a newer generation of game consoles and handhelds for Nintendo, what do you think they'll do if they decide to do a remake or a reboot of a series? Would they redo Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, Yellow? Would they do the second generation, the third, the fourth? Would they redo Black and White or Black 2, White 2? Who knows? I mean, what do you guys and gals out there think? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that, I am done. I am a nerd, I have facts, and this is weird.